This is. It's sick yarn time, and he needs to know the answer to the question: are traps gay? That is the question that's caused so much controversy this week. So we thought we'd tackle it because that's what we do.
You're having so much trouble with this.
Don't worry about the picture. Just put a bunch of traps on it, and we're all good. Just gay traps. Are they gay?
Okay, basically at the CoxCon.
God damn it! I didn't have my mic on either. Fuck! I am hopeless. I am.
So basically, a guy at the CoxCon shows up, gets to ask a question, and asks the question: are traps gay? A funny little meme question that doesn't really matter it's a joke, basically. When we all know about the great trap paradox to begin with. But it was the blowing out of proportion of it by absolutely everyone involved in the convention. Total Biscuit's losing his collective shit for multiple days over this.
Yep.
Trying to say that the question is transphobic, but not explaining why or how it's transphobic. Like, I still don't know.
After previously making a Toastkin joke.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me about it. It's the two-facedness of it. It's like, it's not like he's always had this stance. He had the opposite stance not long ago. Now, all of a sudden, because someone went and had a cry, now all of a sudden it's transphobic and all these problems, but he can't explain why. And that's all anyone wants. Just like, oh, well, why do you think this?
Well, it does seem like...
Because my opinion is...
Yeah.
My opinion is, if you're offended by the question, are traps gay, you might be homophobic. Just saying.
All right, okay. We have to get into the trap paradox. Screw it. All right, if you do not know... If you do not know it is a trap...
That, then obviously you think there's something wrong with being gay.
What if someone who's listening has no idea what a trap is? You should probably...
That's why I was getting to my explanation. Yeah. All right. A trap is a male who is pretending to be female and not telling the male that they are with that they got junk down there. All right, that's why it is known as a trap. It is a older generation internet meme.
Yeah.
Now the thing is in truth, if you do not know that it's a trap, you are not gay. If you do know that it's a trap, then it is no longer a trap because you know the junk is down there.
So traps are not gay?
No.
Okay, good.
Blowing a trap is gay. Having anal sex with a trap is gay.
And if you know it's a trap.
And what if you're a female?
You're gay.
What if you're a female?
Well, then that's also gay because you thought it was a female before you started.
Yeah,
you're gay, and then you're not gay.
Yeah.
It was gay, and then you. I
became
guess that
not
would
gay.
qualify as bisexual if you ran with it. If you see, that's the thing. If it's a trap and you don't know it's a trap, and then you are presented with penis and say, "No, I've changed my mind," then you're straight. If you go along with the penis, you're gay or at least bisexual.
Yeah, but then the question shifts to, are bisexuals considered gay? They are on the LGBT thing.
Yeah,
the B.
Yeah.
It's fairly gay.
But
just saying.
it's the whole overblownness. Like, this would have been a dumb question that nobody would have cared about. It would have been funny for like maybe an hour, and nobody would have fucking cared. But because they decided to kick the dude out and spurge online for days about this, it's become a big thing. And it's become a bigger thing.
And let's be honest here. Your convention is called CoxCon. You got to expect a couple of dick questions.
Yeah, and let's be fair to them as well, because I seem to remember someone saying that he wasn't kicked out of the con, he was just kicked out of the event. So he was allowed to stay there, but he wasn't, you know.
That's not what I heard.
No, according to Nick Monroe, that's what happened, and he is a trustworthy journalist when it comes to the gaming community. But anyways, the tone of TB's tweets right after it happened, that's more what bothers me, I think, because it was this call to the audience to sort of go get that person, or at least inform the people.
It was a virtue signal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it's not just a virtue signal. That's actually almost borderline to the call for aggression. I realize that's a little bit, but it's sort of trying to enforce this sort of
look, the way I look at that one is, if it was ban-worthy immediately, if it was ban-worthy immediately, they should have ejected him on the spot. The fact that he wasn't ejected on the spot and no other incident happened is they should have ignored it and let it go.
Yeah, agreed. I'm not I'm not saying that they didn't handle it badly. Not at all. They handle it horrifically. It's one of those situations where no matter what they come out and say after this, it's gonna look bad for the people there, because either they were pressured into
that was sort of the indication that there was pressure.
That there was pressure for someone, and we all know who that is, but we're not going to mention the person by name. And and then they went after him, then that makes it makes him look weak, first of all, as a crew. That, okay, it was a bad joke, but leave it be. It's not like they threaten you when they talk to this person who shall remain nameless, but we all know who it was.
It was Total Biscuit. I don't fucking care. He doesn't listen to this.
No. I'm not talking about TB. I'm talking about the person that
complained. We don't have any proof, but there's a pretty good indication about who it was.
Yeah.
So that's why
honestly, no, fuck this. I'm at this point now where, honestly, I don't care about cons anymore.
No.
Conventions and cons have basically become a way for people with political ideologies to basically bully everybody else in a particular fandom. The fandoms don't need it. Fandoms don't need cons. fan groups don't need conventions at all. It's nice, but the internet exists. You can meet and conversate with the people you want to, and the people you don't want to, you cannot talk to. But conventions have become a way for basically people who are self-righteous ideologues to basically shit on anybody who doesn't share their ideology. It's pointless. Don't go to them. Don't spend money on them. Just stop going. Stop giving them attention.
Porn
Let
on
them
the internet
die out.
as well. There's porn on the internet
Let the
as well.
money-making scheme of conventions die for a little bit, and then when the ideologues that are just there to push their politics realize, okay, there's no more money in this, and move the fuck on, then the conventions come back. Until then, you're going to get stupid shit like this over and over and over again, where a bunch of e-celebs basically get together and circle jerk on stage or on Twitter afterwards about how great they are. And I don't care which side of the political spectrum it is on, left or right. I honestly do not give a shit anymore. It was the same reason, like, I was over VidCon and everybody was talking about it. Oh, VidCon this and that. I do not give a shit. VidCon is just a bunch of YouTubers masturbatorily trying to get attention from each other to get interesting tweets and maybe make you some YouTube videos and pat themselves the fuck on the back for almost little to no work. I don't give a shit. All this Cox convention was the exact same thing for the so-called gaming critic press on YouTube or whatever. I don't give a shit at all anymore. The only interesting thing about that fucking convention was somebody asked were traps gay. Nobody even knew that convention was fucking going on because nobody gives a shit. Stop caring.
And after that sunshine message, we'll move on.
I'm being honest. Like, did you even know there was a Cox convention going on until somebody asked if traps gay?
I knew of it.
When it was happening.
Yeah, I knew of it as well. I thought it was in August, but I was kind of surprised.
Like, what is it even supposed to fucking be? Like,
I'm in agreement with you. I don't care about the conventions. That one I care about even least because it's just a circle jerk for Total Biscuit and his crowd.
Yeah.
And I don't care for him anymore because he's jumped in the fucking SJW pool and I know that because with anime, that person has an anime avatar, so I can dismiss them.
Yeah,
and that's when he jumps back to me, and I'm like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
he does realize that he has. He does realize that he has fucking Crunchyroll as an advertiser.
Yeah, that's what I.
And honestly, when it comes to Total Biscuit, I unsubbed and unfollowed and all of that stuff back when he treated his wife the way he did publicly.
Yeah,
which was some basically verbal abuse because she didn't vote for Hillary. She didn't vote for Trump. She voted third party, and he felt he had the right to demean her in public over that. That was when I was done. No, fuck him at that point. You don't do that, and you especially don't do it in public.
Yeah, you can have that discussion between one another.
That is a behind closed doors discussion, and you still don't belittle the person the way he did her.
No,
that was demeaning. That was disrespectful. And to be perfectly honest, I had stopped watching Total Biscuit's videos months before because the guy has a problem with speaking about an hour and a half about a particular game to get a message across that he could get done in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Here is a little thing, though. I'm not going to give up on the cons just yet because I actually need them to sell my books. So,
yeah, but you need to pick the con that is not shit.
Yeah. There are a couple of there's a couple of actually my author friend who we all follow and love, Siri. She was just in Poland for a con there, and then there's Europe's greatest sort of fantasy con in Italy this week.
Yeah, and I can tell you the difference between those cons and the ones that most of us know about.
Yeah.
None of them speak English.
Yeah. That's Well, they do
probably
speak
closer to the original need of a con, which is to go there and enjoy the actual products that you're interested in, instead of the social justice political bullshit shoved down your throat.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that they do actually speak, English, because my friend
Yeah, but they're not
was on
English majority.
No, exactly.
Are they?
And here's the thing: there is no commercial power behind it. I think that they saw the cons in the U.S. and some in Britain as well as a gateway to getting influenced by sort of smooching up to big business. And that's the weird thing. Most of these fuckers are anti-capitalist, but they have no problems in invading places
they'll
where
sell out at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I understand why the cons in the US and the UK have sort of fallen apart, but I know why they haven't fallen apart in Europe. It is because of the commercial interest isn't as big, and the people that go there are actual, they're actual nerds, they're actual geeks, they're actual fans. Yeah, I've seen some of the pictures that Siri showed me from her Polish trip. I think it was a Polish trip. I can't remember if it was Finland or Poland. She has it on her Facebook account. But anyways, there's a bunch of
it's the same
kids
thing with Comic-Con is going on right now.
Yeah, but
Comic-Con is going on right now, and it's completely pointless because it's not it's not about comic books anymore. It's not about it's about random whatever corporation wants to push whatever entertainment thing they feel like. They go to Comic-Con and that's what it is now. It's completely lost purpose of what it was supposed to be.
There's no meeting the authors of any books or any fucking comic book.
Yeah, it's basically it's a convention to show trailers for stuff that people are trying to sell and nothing more. It's a giant fucking commercial. And I'm over caring. I'm over it. It's if something cool happens at a convention, awesome. I can watch it on fucking YouTube. I'm not going people. Oh, I gotta spend money to go. No, it's ridiculous. It's a scam, and it's a hustle.
Yeah, it became nerddom became popular, and then everyone wanted to make money off of it. And I don't begrudge them that, but it has tainted the original cons. The so-called fan meetups that used to exist, they're no longer sort of they no longer arrange in the way that it used to be. You don't walk around, and you can't walk around on a con anymore unless you are in Europe and run into someone who wrote something that you admire or was a part of something that you admire. That's just not possible anymore, because it's become...
Or to meet someone that, you can ask them about the show or the things that they've made.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I realize that,
and
not
that's
every...
just turned into masturbatory panels where people preach about their politics. And
yep. And I don't give a fuck about their politics.
Yeah. What does your character do?
It's gotten to a point... Yeah, can we change topics?
Yeah,
let's talking about this shit, please.
Yeah, let's change from this emotional topic to an emotional movie, the Emoji Movie.
Okay, I have got to say one of my favorite things about all of this are the pictures of Patrick Stewart at the premiere.
Yeah.
He is not happy.
Every time, I see every picture of him at that premiere, immediately in my head, it's going, all around me are familiar faces.
This movie is just like the character I play, full of shit.
And he knows it's bad.
Yeah.
He knows it's horrible. He knows it's complete and utter trash, but
And the worst part
he'll
is,
be in anything these days.
yeah, the worst part is that the movie that they were making before this, and I watched the Midnight Edge on this.
Didn't
so,
they cancel the Popeye movie?
Yeah, the
for this?
Popeye. No, they didn't cancel it because there are a few. I think there's at least 6 months between the cancellation of that movie and the pre-production, and therefore it usually is a lot quicker between the two. And I think they got the pitch after they canceled the Popeye movie. So but the thing is, that would have actually been really fucking cool. And I've seen some of the pre-animated shit. Yeah.
Any fucking movie on the fucking planet would have been cooler and a better idea than the Emoji Movie. You can't be like, oh, no, it's the fucking Emoji Movie. This was a train wreck when it was announced. This was a train wreck when it was thought of. This has never been not a fucking train wreck. I have never seen a movie get 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. Fucking 0. Pluto Nash
that, actually.
has a higher percentage.
Yeah.
Someone ruined that. They gave it, so they got one positive one. But the comment they said was, it has a good message, but the plot and the adventure was kind of meh. But they still gave it a positive one for the correct message.
Yeah.
Are you
So now it's a
kidding me?
3%. No, I'm not kidding you. It's because of that.
It's so fucking retarded that anyone thought this was going to be a good idea. Okay, I can explain to you exactly what is wrong with this movie.
It's a shit concept to begin with.
Well, okay.
Yeah, well, you can make a shit concept a good movie.
God damn it!
Hey, you keep interrupting me. I'm gonna do the same to you.
It's
yeah. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Whenever Hollywood takes something that's a popular thing, like they've done it with board games, with anything that is popular, they try and turn it into a movie.
And sometimes that works.
Battleship comes to mind and stuff like that. But the Emoji Movie is everything wrong with those types of movies, but without even the smallest semblance of substance.
I seriously
like when you look at a movie like Battleship, which is based off of a board game. At least they try to mimic the board game in the movie, and it's dumb, but at least they have something to write about. There's no storyline with emojis. There's no substance with emojis. It's a smiley face on a fucking screen.
Yeah.
So basically they had to do, like with all of these movies based off of stupid shit and stupid properties, there's a certain level of bullshit they have to make to fill out a plot and fill out the rest of the movie. But because there is no substance, like Wreck-It
Ralph, there's substance on the characters.
Lego movie.
Yeah, but with emojis, there's nothing there. So instead of, say 80 to 70% bullshit made up on the spot, and then the rest of it is focused on this property, they have to go 100% of this bullshit that just has no meaning and no emotional attachments whatsoever. No one's emotionally attached to emojis.
Lol. It's completely idiotic. It's such a
the fact that this made it past there's just so much wrong with this just being made in general. And they should have known when it was universally made fun of when it came out as an idea. Nobody took this movie seriously. Nobody was like, oh, well, they might do something with it. They might. No, you're making a movie about fucking emojis.
Yeah.
And now it's like...
You're making a movie where one of the characters is literally a piece of shit.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey!
And that is a good introduction, sir.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
my apologies for, and it also describes the movie.
Yeah.
My apologies for my tardiness, as you know that I can be a tard at times.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, but I just the thing is that there are concepts that have been completely sort of Clue, for instance. There's that.
But no, that's different. See, that's what I'm
No,
talking about.
yeah. But the thing is that originally didn't make sense when they wanted to make a movie out of that board game, but they made it work. They made it work because they were original about it.
But the game Clue,
yeah,
the game Clue itself has substance. Like, it has an internal story that happens because you're trying to figure out a murder. There's something to work with.
Yeah, and I'm saying that you could have done. They could have done something with the emoji thing as well, but they would have had to been extremely original.
Challenge you to come up with something.
Well, not right now.
I challenge you to come up with something.
I would have said that the Lego movie wasn't going to be a thing or wasn't going to have anything to it, and it turned out to be a decent watch.
Because there's something there.
Yeah.
You can write a story with Lego because children have been writing stories with Lego for decades.
Yeah, and I see
and there have been Lego
point.
Movies way before that one.
Yeah, but I see your point as well about nostalgia, because the Lego thing actually do have a nostalgia factor, and the emoji thing just I see what you're there's no emotion in
Maybe in 30
emoji.
years it's like, oh, and back in my day when emojis came out, they were the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with your point that and now that I've sort of unshackled myself from postmodernism as well, I agree, but I still I do believe they could have done something if they would have been a little bit more original, but there wouldn't have been. The thing is that they probably should have made like an artsy sort of art house animation thing out of it instead, because then it could have been sellable, because it would have been,
okay. I'll tell you what my problem is with the Emoji Movie and with a bunch of other animated movies that have come out in the last decade or so. They're obviously designed for a marketing campaign.
Oh yeah.
And I don't just mean in terms of selling things. I mean, the Emoji Movie's marketing to this point has not been to tell you anything about the movie. It's simply been, hey, here's this emoji character. Let's make a joke based on what the character is.
And you can do that with Lego. That's what they did originally with the Lego Movie as a marketing tool. Remember Legos?
No. Again, no. You missed my point.
Yeah.
The point is that the Lego Movie actually, when you had trailers come out, for example, when you had posters come out, there was an indication that there was going to be something to it.
Oh
Some kind of story behind it.
I know.
The Emoji Movie marketing is just here's
emoji.
a joke, and it's based on what the emoji is.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that tell me about the story? Nothing.
No, exactly.
Let's make a joke about the handmaiden's tale, and let's make a joke about.
It's just another fucking you're so different type of movie. Even though that worked in the Lego Movie. No.
Like the only animated movie I could think of in the recent years that has come out that has surprised me was Pets.
Really?
The Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, The Secret Life of Pets was a good movie.
Okay.
Are you gonna just discount fucking the fucking Lego Movie just like that?
He's saying ones that surprised him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Lego Movie was going to be good because the trailers were good for it. Plus that, and there had been a good decade and a half of Lego-based
games,
movies and media, and because they had done Bionicle and they started with Bionicle actually when they did that whole saga, and then they had like a Lego movie wasn't something out of the realm of possibility because they had built a world to do that with. Especially with the Lego games. That's another thing that people forget, is that the Lego games were fucking huge.
Yeah. I do. I
and they've
actually
gone
have the
away
Batman
completely.
one. The Batman one's great.
But those games were huge, so you had some of that to go along with. Hell, Batman was in the Lego movie because of that very reason, because the Lego Batman games were so huge. But with emojis, like, come on, dude. Like, how much cocaine do you have to snort to think that shit is a good idea?
Yeah.
Like,
How much cocaine?
what?
We just took
And
that up
granted,
here.
it's still Sony, okay? It's Sony, so I don't expect much from Sony Pictures to begin with.
No, but
Come on, man.
it is nice to have some fucking
The
expectations.
amount of cocaine is exactly one Keith Richards.
Okay.
I didn't know Keith Richards was a unit of measurement for cocaine.
In
I
drugs.
He's a
something
unit of
new
measurement
every
for
day.
all drugs.
Yeah.
He's a unit of measurement for any drug.
How much
If you're talking
hashish
to
do you
Keith
want?
Richards of
How about a
drugs,
Keith Richards worth? Okay. And then you come out with like
and they just drive up the truck.
it's a great
It's
measurement.
equivalent to an 18-wheeler,
Yeah.
approximately.
Evening.
Evening.
Hey,
G'day.
are you okay?
As the crew trickles in.
He
Yeah.
You
heard
okay,
us
buddy?
talking about a Keith Richards of drugs, and he turns up.
Deefry shows up for the cocaine, baby.
There's
like
some
a-
cocaine around here.
No, I need
Oh,
to
man.
fix a few things.
It always reminds me of that Robin Williams joke. There could be a nuclear holocaust and it would just be Keith Richards and 3 cockroaches going, you know I smoked your uncle. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, what have I missed?
Oh,
What
boy.
are we talking
Well,
about?
We were
we-
making
we-
fun of the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
Oh, man. 50 million budget as well. And
Does
Yeah,
it cost 50
this
million to
movie was
make that?
expensive.
yeah.
Yeah,
Holy
how did
shit.
this shit cost 50 million?
They made
Animations, man.
50 million to
I-
make that.
All of that should have been like it had to have been
They
like
spent
30
$20
million to
million on
Patrick
Deadpool.
Stewart.
That's the money you have to pay when you don't treat your animators like shit, a la Sausage Party.
Yeah.
That's the depressing thing. Sausage Party will probably make more than the Emoji Movie. Like, holy crap.
It's probably a better movie.
I never thought I'd say it, but Sausage Party deserves it.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, man.
Like right now, like I haven't seen this movie, but it's the kind of thing of where I compare every movie I ever seen to Ricky-O, the story of Ricky.
Okay.
Oh.
Thing is, I don't
And it
even know.
might
If,
not be that bad, but
What do you
I'm
mean,
still not
bad?
going to pay money to see this.
Ricky-O was a
Yeah.
fantastic film. You made me
Yeah.
watch that, sir.
You're out of your fucking mind.
So, what
That was
I'm
so
worried about
bad,
is-
it was good.
What I'm concerned
Go on.
about is how heavy did they actually lay on with the political message? You know, that came out that was comedian, quote unquote, guy. What was his
Apparently
name?
quite hard,
TJ
and
Miller.
that was
That because
it
all
didn't
the
matter.
criticisms I've seen is that the humor's flat, doesn't really go anywhere. And I've seen a couple of people saying the message is mediocre, but not that they disagree with it. So I don't know whether it's really ham-fisted or people just don't agree. You know, how many of these rotten
it's
reviews on?
ham-fisted. Like there are people,
I'm
like even
not going
people
to
are
spend $20 to go and watch this film.
No. I saw
No.
someone actually say, please just pirate the shit out of this if you have to see it.
Oh, that was TJ.
Oh no, there are
Miller's-
people seeing it
That was
ironically.
Patrick Stewart. That was Patrick Stewart.
Oh,
who
was it?
said that.
There it is. He might have me blocked. I
He
don't know.
might, he might not have said that ironically.
Oh man, but so
So
I
I've already
can't.
got paid. I don't care anymore.
I can't
Like
remember.
somebody give Patrick Stewart a good role, because for the love of God, if this is his last movie, if this
Please.
kills Patrick Stewart, I'm going to be pretty upset.
He's doing I think he's working on a comedy show at the moment with Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
when
wouldn't
that comes
surprise
out.
me.
God fucking
Yeah.
no.
Well, that was.
They're best friends.
There was a
Yeah, they
time
are.
in which I thought a Seth MacFarlane movie would inherently be worth watching, and that's
What?
that
And then A Million Ways to Die in the West came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of slapstick.
Have you ever-
Sarah Silverman was a pain in the ass, like to watch. So
It's like I've got a gold coin standard. We'll bite into the coin. Oh fuck! It's 10 under.
Oh god.
Shit.
it's
Anyway.
a shit coin. It's a
I
poop
think
penny.
I think the problem is he just blew his wad on Family Guy so hard that
Yeah.
Well, there's a
like
horrible
he's written
image.
it's the whole Simpsons thing where the show's been around so long that there
Gotta
isn't a
stay.
concept or an idea that he hasn't already done and probably better.
So you can't do cutaway gags and then make fun of
Simpsons
cutaway
did it.
gags. Like, yeah, there are episodes where he is straight up advocating people to change the channel. You know, because he knows he's out of ideas for the
He's
fucking
trying
side
to be
plots.
free.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's trying.
So,
I think
why
that's
are
why
you
they
watching
killed
this?
Brian for like a couple of episodes. They killed Brian because he just wanted to kill the show and he can't.
Stewie kill Lois, and then Lois kills Stewie, and then like he tried to
It's
dig
like a,
over
it's like a
fans with,
murder
like-
pretzel.
Yeah,
No, but he's not Trey Parker and Matt Stone, so he will go tired of a show pretty pretty fucking fast. But it's the fucking show spent its load a long fucking time ago. It's not as funny as it used to be.
yeah. With the movies, so I can't remember who it was who said it, but Hollywood has a real habit of getting the wrong message on flops or hits as far as movies are concerned. Like, was it The Matrix came out, and instead of like trusting in the Wachowski brothers and taking a risk every now and then is a good idea, big budget, people like sci-fi, you know, people like head movies. They went, oh, people like trench coats now. Everyone should wear trench coats.
And bullet
Honestly,
time,
Val
trench
Helsing.
coats and bullet time.
There-
Everything for like 5 years had bullet time in
Well,
it.
And the
that's a problem.
They did
with
a
the movie.
remake of Driving Miss Daisy where Morgan Freeman like drove the Cadillac in bullet time.
yeah.
Anyways,
but
the
it
thing-
remains to be seen what the wrong lesson they're going to take from Ghostbusters is that maybe people don't want remakes, and maybe don't treat your loyal fans like shit for the entire marketing campaign. But I can guarantee that somewhere someone is going to say, well, nobody wants original property in movies anymore. We should stick with remakes. Just look at what happened with the Emoji Movie. We can't take that kind of risk.
Yeah.
Oh God!
No, but the thing is that in the movie industry they are far too visual. They don't think of the narrative enough. That is one of the huge problems. And I've had this discussion with directors from time to time, even though the directors I work with are fucking brilliant. They're great people, but I have had it with people who have met at parties and so on, and most of them think automatically, okay, we should make this look cool. Well, what the fuck is the purpose? Why are you doing that? Why do you need that special filter for this? Oh, because it's a homage. Will someone get that, or is this just for us movie nerds? Oh,
So when are we getting a Wingdings movie?
oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Don't even.
Just all the fonts. Just Comic Sans is the
Some
little
already-
dribbly kid in the corner.
Oh, the Comic Sans movie. I'd pay to see that.
No, just
Oh,
fonts
Jesus.
the movie.
Comic Sans the movie.
Oh,
Is that
God.
Fonts and wingdings are actually the evil that's destroying the world.
I think you could do it with fonts and like.
They did do a movie
Times New
about a
Roman,
font,
just
but
decipher
the
differences, so-
they did do a movie about a font, but it was a documentary about its use and its history,
Yeah.
and it was actually pretty good.
Now that we managed,
Helvetica, the Dark
You
Years.
know, they could have done that with emojis, and it might have been a worthwhile thing to find like a movie, a documentary about social psychology and how
Yeah.
emojis fit into that. That might have been interesting to watch.
how the hell did we manage to make two funny topics depress me at the end of the broadcast? Because let's see what we could do now with a serious topic and see if that can make it laugh.
Oh, we're going to make the serious topic funny. That's what we do.
the origin of the emoji can be traced back to ancient Egyptian times.
No,
Hey, what
that's not what I was talking about.
What was the pay
I
gap
would
thing you wanted
actually,
to
you
talk
know what?
about?
I would actually watch that documentary if you went into like, because that's like emojis aren't a new thing, and culturally as a society, we've always
It's an ideograph.
it's social
Translated from the
graffiti.
wall, it's like,
Yeah.
suck the brains out of Pharaoh today, lol.
Yeah. There is. I bet my ass there is a hieroglyph for lol. There has to be. Well, there is because lol is kek in Korean, and there is a hieroglyph for kek. So, anyways,
it comes around.
You Americans, you have a president, or so I've heard.
Really?
like every fucking day for the last.
I hadn't
8
heard.
months. Jesus
The country
Christ.
literally trolled the Democrat Party. That's what we did. We hired a guy, we trolled him, and they're still getting over it. So keep going.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna set up, and before you guys interject and say your piece, let me just finish because there's a couple of bends to this. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let you finish.
There was a string of tweets that he tweeted out about a sort of a new policy when it came to transgendered people in the military, and he wanted to outright ban them. And then the military came back with an article, as far as I know, that said that no, we won't ban groups of people like that. But it seems what it seems to me like he did, and this is just me giving my opinion because I don't necessarily agree with what he did, but it seems like what he did, or what he does usually, is just sling things out on Twitter, see if it sticks, and if it sticks, it's a fucking policy.
Not so sure. The thing about this, because it's banning new tranners, isn't it? And nobody could seem to pin down the number of current trans people in the American military. The ACLU seems to think it's about 15,000, which would mean they're overrepresented compared to the US population.
Are you sure that was the ACLU? I thought it was some trans.
I don't think
I stopped trusting their statistics years ago.
Yeah.
It
doesn't matter. It's still
includes the speech, includes the right to lie.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, and I don't trust that number at all, mainly because gender dysphoria being a condition itself that also carries a number of other mental conditions that get sort of brought along in tandem, that you even with Obama's was it the inclusive saying that trans people are allowed in, and only have to pay for surgery and HRT and all that on public funding and all that. But you'd still be disqualified for ADHD, depression, suicide attempts, things like that. Not ADHD.
Okay. Let me get into this because it kind of happened.
Let Evil read the list first, so that we have the list of things.
There's things that aren't on the list.
The entire list, and I know there's not things on the entire list, but I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. Diabetes is on there.
Yeah,
Got diabetes, you're not eligible. Male genitalia. Absence of both testicles, either congenital or acquired or unexplained absence of a testicle.
Well, that leaves Will Wheaton out.
Undefended testicles. Penis amputation of if the resulting stump is insufficient to permit normal micturition. Penile infectious lesions, including herpes genitalis and condyloma acuminta, acute or chronic, not amenable to treatment. Prostasis, acute or chronic. Here's some other ones that aren't related to the penis. Hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids that bleed. Guess what? You're not allowed. So if you have hemorrhoids, you can't go in.
You don't want to track that dinner.
Oh God.
Any sort of eye or things they're pretty much out.
All right.
Yeah.
Severe stuff.
Severe stuff.
You can be too short.
Ulcer. You got a duodenal ulcer?
Oh, stomach.
Yeah, you're out.
I was going to say not like
Gastrointestinal bleeding.
Yep.
If you have had
Cirrhosis
a seizure
of
within the
chronic
last
liver
2 years,
diseases. If you've got
Psoriasis.
pancreatitis.
Too many
Anal-
pauses, evil.
What was that? Anal something.
Anal fissures.
Anal fissure.
Anal fish. Yep. Makes sense.
Gastrointestinal bypass or stomach stapling for control of obesity. You're not allowed in.
Really? So
Anemia?
you can't serve now?
Yep.
He was so close as well.
Immunodeficiency. So that
He was so close.
immunodeficiency. Obvious.
Yep.
Dental. Any diseases of the jaw, severe malocclusion, insufficient natural healthy teeth, or
Basically
lack of
means-
prosthesis.
Basically means we can't guarantee that the food isn't going to rot your teeth while you're out there.
Endocrine or metabolic disorder. So a whole bunch: adrenal dysfunction, major degree, diabetes, gout, hyperinsulinism, thyroid
like if
disorders.
You can't join if you currently have gout. Or
Apparently,
I was prevented from going in for 18 months when I first tried to enlist because I had had a seizure as a child. Exactly one, none before, none after, but there must be a 10-year gap between your last seizure and your date of enlistment or you're not allowed in. There's all kinds of things. You have to be basically physically fit. And if you are going through a transition period...
You can be too tall. If one foot is taller than the other one, it's... If you have asthma, if you have a heart murmur, if you have any kind of sight problems, if you have balance problems, that's why they literally size you up the minute you enlist to make sure you're even capable of being in the military. And we're not even going into the psych portion of this. If you have severe depression, if you have OCD, if you...
Color
Color blindness
blindness.
will keep you out.
Night blindness as well.
Night blindness as well. All of these things will prevent you from being in the military. Now, the thing about the people who... Okay, I get that you want to have people into transfer. It's purely social. It's purely social because at the end of the day, someone who is transitioning is nowhere near as fit as any of the people who are on this list.
I came up with a horrible joke now. You could stick to
when you're transitioning, you're literally taking hormones that, like, from when you... And because the majority of transitioning is male to female. You're literally taking hormones that lower your bone density.
I came up
that
with a
literally
horrible...
make you weaker.
I came up with a horrible thought now. Why don't we just stick him in Area 51?
Oh god, dude!
I mean, come on, look at this. Cleft lip or palate defect unless satisfactorily repaired by surgery. So if you've got a hairlip, you're out.
Yeah.
Was Sophia?
The military needs people. They are very specific about who they bring in for a very specific reason, because they have to fit a profile. And trans
99% healthy, 99%
yeah,
of
you
the
have to
time.
be 99% healthy. Whether you want to go after gender dysphoria as a biological issue or a mental issue, both of those would disqualify you. For one, even after transitioning, like, it's that horrible statistic out there. 41% of trans people after they transition commit suicide.
Oh, is that?
You want to take that group of people?
There's a list of neurological disorders.
Hang about. I think that's
and expose them to
that's during HRT, but before gender reassignment surgery. So there are some studies that say that the surgery does drop it down to about 1%. Obviously,
really?
yeah, still above the national average for cisgendered women. So if it's just if you're just looking at trans women, there's still a higher rate of suicide, but lower than cisgendered men. If I'm right in thinking. Obviously, there's it might not account for people who walked into the surgery far too early, or
Yeah. Well, that's my thing with that. That's really not something that you could figure out in a goddamn war zone.
I mean,
you
one
think
we've
you
got
were
here,
having you
Campbell
thought we were
physician
having mental
or have a
problems
mental
before.
health professional for more than 6 months, you're out.
Yeah.
Now, if you're trans, that automatically puts you under that one.
Well,
I've
had people arguing with me, to the extent saying that, well, we should let trans people at least into non-combat roles, and I'm like, you still have to go through boot camp. Everybody has to go through boot camp, which is basic infantry training.
Yeah,
they don't seem to understand.
Everybody
this.
is. That's the first thing they tell you. Oh, you came in for this job. You're infantry.
Yeah,
I knew a guy who went in to join the band, and he went in, and your first thing, gotta go through boot camp before you can get to band camp.
Yeah,
infantry.
No, but that is. I mean,
and
that's true. That's true for most armies. I served in the Norwegian.
No,
army.
it's true for the military in general, because even if you're on a base doing paperwork, if that base is attacked, you're grabbing a gun.
Yeah,
and
I used to be a fucking office clerk. I know that. We had drills
in World War II where this happened.
Yeah,
World War II. This did happen during the Battle of the Bulge. The Germans had a breakthrough. Not even just talking about that. Germans had a breakthrough, and they grabbed the black cooks who supposedly weren't supposed to have combat skills because black people in World War II were not supposed to be in front combat lines for the most part. And it's like, no, here you go. You went through boot camp, get a rifle, get on the line.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were a cook this morning. Today you're an infantryman.
Infantry. Infantry.
Was that Operation Get Behind Whitey?
Back in the day.
The problem with the people who are arguing about this is so horrible is the majority of the people I've seen that have a problem with it have never been in the military and don't understand basic training breaks people.
Oh yeah.
Some people I've seen say that for the same reason they don't want mixed platoons either. That was the original thing. Obviously, it's still elective for women to go in the military in America, isn't it?
And I don't think I've told the story on here. When I was in basic, it was mixed, but we had separate dorms.
Oh yeah.
But we would always get punished for the women's behavior.
Oh, because of the
tampon fight. Basically, there were a couple of women in our unit that didn't like each other, so they kept leaving used tampons on each other's lockers.
Mature.
But we would get punished because we were all a unit. We got punished together, so we would get punished whenever they would fuck with each other, which was constant.
Well, women in the military, they're usually dykes.
But
I'm sorry, I have a fever, okay? I can't help it if I don't manage to control my bad jokes.
Wow.
The idea would be that you would keep the rest of your platoon in line, then, correct?
That's always been the thing. But then I would ask you, when have you ever told a woman to do something and she's done it?
I'm still married, so never.
Please stop messing with each other. I do what I want. Can you just do your work?
Can confirm, just doing what you want is bad enough. Can you her to do what you want?
Okay, we're on KP duty. Can you help us out so we don't get in trouble? Don't tell me what to do. Okay, we're gonna push. It became a thing where we just planned that we were going to get in trouble for stuff that they did.
Yeah, I'd rather have the rest, everybody else, scrub than put aside this grudge.
Oh no, we had to plan around it, and so now, I get that you won't because it's Trump. So when Trump says anything, everybody wants to be against it, but. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of fucking reasons for trans people to not be in the military. physically and psychologically. It's just a bad look. They don't have to be there. It's not good for them. It's not good for anybody in general. Like, combat breaks people.
Yeah.
Perfectly sane people who have nothing wrong with them get destroyed by this.
And not even combat, but the purpose of boot camp is to break you down so that you can fit inside the unit. That's the whole point of boot camp. And people who haven't been in the military don't understand that at all. That's why I'm glad Norway has a national fucking service, and it's both for men and women, because
I like South Korea's system where everybody has to serve.
Yeah, Israel has the same fucking thing. In Norway, it is that every person over the age of 17 get called in for an examination, basically, to test to see if you're physically fit to serve. And then the women can opt out because of, career or whatever. But the men who are healthy enough and are not pacifists or cowards, as my sergeant used to call them, not even conscientious objectors. You can't conscientiously object to defending your own country in Norway. You can say that you don't want to serve it outside of the country. That's completely elective, but you have to serve. If you are a pacifist, you don't have to serve, but you may have to go into the civil defense, which is basically just you go around and you help people and you practice for floods, or you work during floods and so on. So it's
disaster relief.
Yeah, disaster relief, basically. Which is a great which is a great service, because I just wish that they would make it as compulsory as possible, because now it's too easy to get out of it. I mean, I could have gotten out of it with my right arm, but I served my entire year.
That's another thing about the trans thing. Like, there are probably people who are trying to get out of the military. I'm trans, I need to get out. Because there are plenty of people who find any excuse to get out, and you're taking that away from those people.
Yeah,
they were going to escape,
but
now they have to get gender reassignment surgery, and now they got to take hormones. They were just trying to get out, man. They were just trying to get the fuck out of
Poor Klinger! Poor Klinger! God damn it! He now has boobs.
All you have to do is shoot yourself in the foot. Now I've got to cut my dick off.
Yeah. It used to be that you could I've got asthma now because of fucking fumes. You gotta let me go.
Let's bear something
you're gonna have to get gender reassignment.
There's a difference. There's a big difference between this and the gay issue. And this is something that's kind of annoying me. Just because it's LGBT, they're going like, "Oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing." No, the reason is completely different. With trans people, as has been mentioned, there's numerous medical issues and psychological concerns. With gays, it was just a matter of, are you going to try dating your sergeant? That's the concern. That's literally the concern. Because it's the same problem the military had with women serving. They didn't want fraternization between the ranks. They didn't want fraternization between people in the same unit. They wanted sex lives under control. And when you are more liberal with what you can have as a sex life, that becomes geometrically harder to pull off.
By the way, just on another note, Patreon took down the site, the page for Lorne Southern last week, was it? I think it was last week. And
why are people surprised by this?
Now they have taken down the page of It's Going Down as well, which is the Antifa one. So they are basically
finally
they're playing fair for once. So Patreon,
because people were starting to sue them.
Yeah.
And Antifa is a really hard one to have up when they're literally considered a terrorist organization in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I looked into that. New Jersey lists a lot of things as terrorist groups, including a lot of right-wing stuff.
New Jersey.
God damn it, James Gunn made the wingding jokes before us.
Ah,
Fuck.
Damn it!
God damn it.
Fuck.
No, but going back to the trans thing,
Damn you, James Gunn!
I agree with the excluding people because of medical reasons or because of medical demands or whatever. I totally agree. It's the exclusion of the group that I have.
It's not a group. It's a medical condition.
Yeah. But it's
No.
the way that it's the way that it's
part of
it's phrased. It was a clumsy
The
way of
phrasing was
doing it.
horrible.
Yeah, it was a horribly clumsy way of doing it, and that's why I sort of said, ugh, when I saw it. I didn't necessarily disagree with the reasoning. I understand that people are upset about it, but I'm not.
Trump was horrible with phrasing. Like,
Yeah.
he never knows how to actually say things properly without them blowing up, like, at all.
No, but
Which is
I'll
one of the
give him
reasons
that.
people stalk his Twitter page.
Yeah.
He phrased it horribly.
Yeah, who didn't even know whether existing trans people in the military were going to be kicked out or not at that
Yeah.
point. That had to be
Well, that's
clarified.
another thing. The problem with it is that it's all right, you look at Chelsea Manning, and Chelsea Manning was bragging about having the military pay for a $60,000 gender reassignment surgery. Then you have a problem with people literally joining the military who are trans just to get their free gender reassignment surgery.
Oh, maybe that explains the increased numbers. I don't know.
Well, there you go. It's like some people go in for the college money, some people go in for the VA benefits, other people go in to get tranny surgery. It's all part of the bonus program now.
Oh God!
You're
right
one
now selling that shit.
You're one to
No,
talk. You
you
gotta
know
operate
recruiters.
it at a horn in your fucking face, okay? You're
You know
not one to
recruiters.
talk.
Recruiters will do anything. There's probably like a bunch of recruiters at like gay pride parades now, just trying to scope out and hunt down trannies to try and get them to join the military.
It's like, here
Have you
you
thought
go.
about
We'll
the
just do
service
a-
stun? I mean, ma'am. I mean, sir. I mean, there.
No, they would come up with a script for it. Person of indiscriminate or
Person of indiscriminate gender and or sexual orientation.
Yes.
Have you thought about joining the military?
I think the reason this has become such a thorny
Hi,
issue is because
insert gender here.
they seem to have built a rod for their own back somewhat,
Yeah.
and I think partially is because as insensitive as this sounds, adding the T to LGBT because they are different in that one is a treatment for gender dysphoria and the other three are sexualities. You know,
Yeah, gender
can
and
be heterosexual or
sexuality are
yeah.
different things.
the thing is, it's dealt with sex and not gender. As far as when being homosexual or heterosexual, you can be a homosexual trans or a heterosexual trans person, and so there was always going to be this point in time when a condition excludes them from something that people mistakenly believe to be a human right, whereas a sexuality wouldn't. So it doesn't matter if you're a heterosexual trans person or a homosexual trans person, you're still not getting in the military. But I did think it was the monetary thing, where they penny pinching somewhat because of the increased costs in the military. But then part of me thinks, it's such a small percentage of people and applicants that may not be the case. And I start thinking about increased...
It's even if, all right, you can try and go the whole psychological route with guys that are out in combat that would have to deal with this.
No,
I think a bigger problem than that is the military doesn't like to have to ship out medication for soldiers, which is why anybody that generally needs medication on a regular basis is excluded. And when you have somebody who needs hormones regularly, that might not happen in a war zone. And what happens when that happens and what goes wrong. And it's just a drama issue that they don't want to deal with and don't have to deal with.
And that's the thing is that I completely agree with the combat situation thing. I kind of agree as well with the behind the desk or administrative situation, since you need to go through boot camp. And I am telling you, regular people don't understand what boot camp is. They think it's just training and fucking.
They think it's Cub Scouts or summer camp.
Montages.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not
montages.
fucking easy for an 18, 19-year-old to go through what that is. That is.
You're gonna cry.
Yeah, you are. You are. There's no fucking two ways about it. It's.
And this is well-adjusted people. We're talking about people who
well-adjusted, kind of. Well, I was talking about myself, but it's
you got socialized. You got mandatory service. You're getting everyone.
Yeah, well, that is an issue, and I can tell you horror stories. When we were in boot camp up north by the Russian border, and it was the middle of January, because we were called in during the January contingency. So we were up there during boot camp, and it was I think it was the second week. Then all of a sudden, one guy had taken live ammunition from the shooting range down to the barracks. And he had loaded up his machine gun. It's an AG-3. It's an old German type of automatic weapon. And he had fortified himself in the gymnasium in the camp. So it was pretty fucking tense when we woke up.
Full Metal Jacket style.
Yeah, it was not fucking pretty. And they had to talk him down from that, and there are dozens of stories like that.
I think people really don't talk about when it comes to this, is that when you look at the trans community and how they try and portray themselves, we're talking about a group of people who are screaming, that have been screaming for years, decades even, that they are so fragile that they need to be protected and taken care of in every way possible, that you have to put trigger warnings out there, that you have to walk on eggshells or else they'll freak out and snap. And anything you say, like words or violence, and you're going to get them to kill, you're literally killing trans people and all of this stuff.
It's not unanimous, obviously.
No, it's not people like we know. You know, like Sophia.
Yeah, there are trans people that'll hit you in the fucking mouth and are tough as nails.
Yeah.
Sophia, who was supposed to be on, is one of those people.
I think she's doing magic stuff. And
you have this group of people trolling, like places like Tumblr and Twitter and social media in general, who act like this, that pretend like anything you say or do that angers or upsets trans people in any way is going to break them because they're so fragile, and then you wonder why people begin to believe you.
Yeah. Anyways, there was one last topic you wanted to cover before we end, Evil, because I'm feeling woozy, so I need to lie down.
Coxcon?
Yeah, we covered Coxcon already.
Oh, okay, fair play. I knew I was going to miss a couple of things, sorry.
Yeah, no, it was the UK pay gap thing since Deefry.
Yeah, that was for Deefry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just brought it up. I mean, we've only got 5 minutes or so. It's all fucking dumb. I don't know how much you guys get coverage-wise of us.
Not much.
No. So there was a report, and the BBC had to release how much their top brass were earning, and like the top 7 or something were all blokes, and instead of focusing on like the fact that they got way too fucking much, like just in general, it was like, oh, there's too many men at the top, despite the fact they do way more shows, they do across genres opposed to women do it, and it almost seemed like controlled opposition to me. Is that they just, we have this, like we're paying people at the BBC way too much with public money, you know, from the license fee and that, but let's control the narrative and just get people railing against just the men, and then we can try and either level things out a bit, by cutting the men's salary, or we can screw the taxpayers, screw the license fee payers even more, and just pay the women more, kind of thing. That was basically it. Nothing much come of it really. It's just like and everywhere the press is like they were just going to anyone they could at the BBC saying, "Dude, announce this pay gap. Are you going to do anything?" I was like, instead of telling them fuck off.
A witch hunt, basically.
Oh yeah. Instead of saying fuck off, it's based on merit. It might be too inflated. Obviously, they didn't say that.
Yeah, they can't say that. It.
No.
It's fucking.
No, but in the case of Chris Evans, he does a highly popular morning show, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Penis.
Loads of people watching.
Yeah, every fucking day, apart from
doesn't matter. Penis.
Saturday, Sunday. That is not an easy job to do. That's
the
a lot
definition
of
a
hours.
regressive.
Yeah.
It's looking
Someone who's
at
progressive. Someone who is progressive wants equal opportunity. Someone who is regressive wants equal outcome.
Yeah. It's
always. I just see progressive and regressive as bloody synonyms now. It's a joke.
No, but yeah. I'm sorry. I'm seriously losing.
That's okay. I'm slow to. It's such it fizzled out so much without anything actually getting resolved. So
yeah. No,
right.
but it's the case with I've been discussing this back and forth with people who I know who are on the left, who are seriously upset over the fact that the kind of people who want to make everything about victimhood are taking over their political stance, and they are really, a lot of them are, especially in Norway, we're really good at rooting out that problem really early. So there are a lot of Norwegians that I've been talking with as of late that are on the left but don't like the victimhood politics, basically. So.
Aye.
But anyways, I'm sorry that we're ending the show an hour early, but that's my fault because I'm not feeling great. But this has been the Unsolicited Opinions podcast. I have been your host, Meerkat Monarch. With me, as always, is Artivous Ira. And we got joined during the hour by Roy and Deefry. And, of course, our overlord and supreme ruler, Evil. Goodbye.
Just in general.
So I'm the doctor,
Yeah. He didn't go to evil medicine school to be called Overlord.